Hello, I am Ducky, and this is Severed Steel, a single-player first-person shooter with a complex and stylish movement system, levels that are completely destructible, a bullet time mechanic, and a super cool soundtrack. The game was released in 2021. I played the demo of this game quite a bit a few months ago, and then grabbed it while it was on sale for its 4-year anniversary. After that, I blasted through the campaign in one long 2-hour-plus play session. Now I'm here to tell you all about it. I'll be covering each of the game's systems in broad strokes, starting with movement. Smooth, responsive, and likely to be intuitive if you played any other shooter that features wall running and sliding. As Steel, you'll double jump, wall kick, wall run, slide, and dive through levels. While performing any movement stunt, you'll be invincible to enemy fire, and using bullet time for slow motion will not consume any meter. Mastery of the movement system and how to move through a level is mastery of the game in Severed Steel. The only small thing I noticed was that sometimes the kick prompt will appear while near an enemy, but before you're in range to hit them. Kicks can also miss if you're standing inside an enemy's model. I'm going to say missing my kick attacks is just a skill issue on my part, completely avoidable with more practice and attention to spacing. Other than my one skill issue, movement feels perfect. The player character responds properly to every button press, and the motion lines on the edge of the screen provide visual feedback for when the player is properly doing any stunt. Bullet time. Without bullet time, I would likely not be able to succeed in this game. As such, I spend most of my time in a time-slowed state, trying to figure out where each enemy is and line up the perfect shot on them, all while being aware of my own position and momentum, preparing to move on to the next trick to further extend my invincibility and keep the bullet time gauge from depleting. It always feels good to use, and is great for lining up hilarious trick shots, like kicking an enemy into the air and then shooting him while he's still in the ragdoll state. Guns and shooting. Arm cannon charges are represented by the dots on the left side of the screen, and player health is on the right, represented by a pie chart diagram of a 4-leaf clover. Important to note here is that the protagonist only has one hand. The arm cannon attaches at the wrist. As such, reloading is not an option for the gun in your right hand. Empty a gun's magazine, and then hurl the empty gun at an enemy to deal damage. This forces the player to constantly cycle through weapons as they come. More weapons can be found in little wall displays in some levels, but the main source of weaponry will be your enemies. When you have no gun in hand, simply slide or maneuver close to an enemy to disarm them or slip their sidearm out of its holster. Walking over a gun with ammo on the ground will also automatically pick it up if you have no gun. There is no inventory screen, there is nothing to manage. What you see on screen is what Steel has. All of this combines to keep the focus of the game on the action and the combat, which I think is great. There are some guns that I really like, that I wish I could spend more time with. In the alternative game modes, I was able to choose my starting weapon, and in Rogue Steel mode, there are certain cards that increase weapon magazine size, allowing me to use my preferred weapon for longer. Great stuff. Once you acquire the arm cannon in the campaign, it will be your only constant weapon other than various melee moves. The cannon has limited charges and seems to regain charge after killing enough enemies. Usually 3 to 5 enemies downed did the trick for me. In the side modes, you'll be able to trade out the arm cannon for other options, including a gravity gun and a laser beam. Level design. Sewers, office buildings, museums, maintenance areas, giant air vents with huge fans, apartment complexes, and some more abstract kinds of levels that reminded me of early Unreal Tournament or custom Doom 2 levels. Some levels will require blasting through terrain with the arm cannon, but it is usually pretty intuitive to figure out where to do this. Most often, it is a giant door of some kind that you'll need to get through. Enemy variety. Enemies are easy to understand at a glance. Grunts with barely any armor and a gun are the first enemy you'll encounter. Then you will encounter guys with armor. Then you will encounter guys in exosuits, or with better armor. Guys with gear that lets them fly. And then flamethrower guys, who can only be hurt from behind by attacking their fuel tank. And then there are the invisible guys. Each type serves a specific function and presents a twist on the base template of the regular grunt. In the campaign, there is also a boss fight with a large mech, but I won't show that here and spoil the details for you. Graphics. I started playing shooters a long time ago, with Quake 3, Unreal Tournament, and Halo 1. So to me, these graphics look phenomenal. Notably, everything is clear. I can tell where enemies are, where are the doorways and windows, and where the mission objective is at all times. I never found myself feeling lost in a level. Even if I couldn't find a straight path to my objective, there was always the option to blast my own path with the arm cannon. Also notable is the brightness. I never felt like I got lost in the dark or too disoriented in the more dim parts of levels. Music. The music did not ever distract me from the experience of gameplay. Anytime I did notice the music, it was only to think, oh, this is pretty good. Here's a little sample. Side modes. Firefight, and Rogue Steel mode. The game features 2 side modes, which are available from the start if you wish to try them. Firefight functions as the game's time trial and score attack mode. Compete on global leaderboards for the best scores. Modify your game experience to make it harder, easier, or just plain hilarious using mutators. Give enemies big heads, prevent yourself from using guns, give yourself cheat abilities like infinite sliding. There are many ways to customize the experience. The second mode is my favorite part of the game, Rogue Steal, or the roguelike mode. Play a stack of levels chosen at random and receive random cards which will modify your experience. Choose between debuff cards which will enhance your total score at the end, or take power-ups that will give you more tools to clear levels. Check the Advanced tab when setting up a run to enable a few things to change it up. I highly recommend turning on permadeath for the full roguelike experience. Steam Workshop. The one thing I wish for is that there were more maps to play, and here the Steam Workshop and the game's map editor come in to save the day. There are a handful of people who have made maps on Steam, and I am pleased to report that even maps released 4 years ago still seem to run just fine today. Developer support. This game still receives occasional updates. The most recent one was balancing and bug fixes for the 4-year anniversary of the game, which is the bit of news that reminded me that this game existed and convinced me to really dive into playing it. How many game developers continue to update, maintain, and patch their game year after year, especially for a small, indie first-person shooter like this? Not many. Thank you, Greylock Studios, for your continued efforts on this game. Conclusion. Is this the perfect movement shooter? Yes, I believe it is. 10 of 10. It combines the movement I loved from Mirror's Edge with the bullet time and melee combat that first appeared in Fear, with graphics and soundtrack the likes of which I'd expect to find in something paying homage to Ghost in the Shell. Despite the short length of the campaign, the game is built for long-term play via daily challenges and the roguelike mode, also speedrunning and competing for spots on the global leaderboard through firefight mode if you're into that. The game is on sale right now on Steam for $1.25 US. There is no better first-person shooter made in the past 5 years which has ever been priced so low. If this at all looks like something you'd enjoy, go and get it now. If you're still somehow on the fence about it, play the free demo first. Sale ends September 27th, 2025. Hashtag not sponsored. A final thank you to Matt and Greylock Studios for making such an awesome game. I have been Ducky, it has been my pleasure, and now I need to go back to playing Rogue Steal mode. Goodbye.